Well, here it is. I believe I've seen dirt for the last time this year. So a couple things, more of kind of a quick update than anything. Got some new tires for my truck I'm getting put on. These tires are, I mean, they've got, you can't see, it's too dark, but they've got a little bit of life left in them, but not for winter. Not for winter at all. The truck is a little bit torn apart right now. Jeez, it's really dark. There's some electrical stuff underneath the dash that I can't decide if the window's been leaking or if it's just old electrical, but what's been happening basically is there's a control or a fuse box right here, and in a lot of these trucks people say that if the windshield leaks from up here at all, it'll go straight down onto that electrical stuff and then start doing weird stuff with your electric in your truck, which is what I've been seeing. Like, for example, sometimes the windows won't open and close, sometimes the locking mechanism won't work, sometimes the radio will stay on after I've pulled the key out of the car, opened the door and closed the door. Sometimes the dome light will stay on, just some random weird electrical problems. So I pulled that fuse box out, and I could probably just turn flash on, but I pulled the fuse box out, cleaned the whole thing out. There's a bunch of connectors on there with diodes that come up. I just threw a bunch of dielectric grease on it after I cleaned it out a bunch, just to keep them protected as best as they can. I mean, I don't know if that's something you're not supposed to do, but I've seen other people do it, so I decided I would do it. But I'm gonna leave this pulled apart until I can verify that everything is actually like good to go. It's got rough starts in the morning, really rough starts. The block heater doesn't work on it. Really not sure why that doesn't work. I probably should have checked it earlier in the year. The cable comes out here, and I plugged it in, but it doesn't seem to do anything when I plug it in. So it's either got some kind of short in it somewhere, or I don't know.
As a side note, something that I noticed when putting this video together, pay attention to how bright it is at the start of the video and how dark it is at the end of the video.
No idea. But this is a new addition. It's a little Fiesta. It's a 1.0 three-cylinder engine. It's got a few things wrong with it too that I think I can figure through. It runs fine, other than when you press the gas a little bit, like maybe past 2 inches, it just cuts all gas delivery to the engine. So it's something with the electronics. It's saying that there's a camshaft position sensor that's out of whack, and I'm thinking it's either the sensor itself or there's not enough oil delivery getting up into the top of the engine to actually let those camshafts move properly. Because with the variable valve timing in here, when you press the gas further than a certain point, it kicks those in and sends the engine into a whole different timing. And this is very layman's terms because I don't really understand all of it. I just know the terminology and enough to say, okay, well, if there's a problem with that, then maybe I need to diagnose this or this or this or this, or try it out. So first thing I'm going to do here is change the oil. The registration on it, the plate says that it expired in 2021. The guy says he hasn't driven it in a year. I don't think that that's true, being that it's a 3-year expired plate. I think it sat for a lot longer than that. So first thing I'm going to do is change the oil, then I'll replace the sensor and go from there, just see how it goes. But in keeping with last year's video around this time, I'll just say that this is absolutely gorgeous. I think that it is some of the most gorgeous country that you can get, especially when it snows. When it's fresh snow that's down, you can make the first footprints of the, oh my gosh, he's wearing shoes? What? That'll come as a surprise to some people. Yeah, if I'm working out here in this stuff and like I had to be all up underneath the dash and my feet were all up over here, like I'm gonna wear shoes. You kidding? Like I like my toes. So I'm finally getting the shovel out, gonna shovel off my deck, and hopefully this year I'll have a pretty nice snowbank right outside of my place. So you can see my stove is on in there, got some light going. But yeah, the generator's kicking on automatically. The guy came out, I'll show you over here. The guy came out for the propane tank just to do a site survey, and he said that where it's gonna go is fine. My excavator's done, so I'm gonna go pick it up tomorrow and get this mound of rocks that I had delivered flattened out, and the generator. So here's how it's gonna go. You're not supposed to have anything that's using the propane within 10 feet of the tank. So I'm gonna put the tank a little bit further over, closer to this tree over here. And the generator's gonna go kind of on the corner right here. So inside of the electric closet, I've already got 2 lines running from the inverters. So both inverters, along the walls, up and above, over, and then down to where I'm gonna have, shoot, that's what I was supposed to buy today. Where I'm gonna have a breaker panel that's just for inverters. Sorry, just for generators. All these words, dude. And it's a Monday. Yikes. So it'll be just for the generators. That will allow me to hook the generator up to the breaker panel, which will then go to both inverters so that I can get more charge out of one generator. Right now, I'm only able to pull, because the inverter won't allow me to pull more than 6,000 watts, and it will not pull more than 80% of what it says that it can do. So I'm getting like 4,800 watts out of this generator when it's a 10K generator. Granted, you're not supposed to run it at max capacity, but when I get both of the inverters hooked up, I'll be able to bump that up to 10K, and then it'll be able to pull 8K into the batteries. So I'll get a better charge out of it. It'll use up a little bit more propane, but with this propane thing here, not gonna be an issue. I did run into, my water froze the other day. It got down to like -5 and it froze. So I've been testing out a couple things. So I've got electric line that runs along the pipe that goes underneath the ground inside of the insulation that I put in there. And basically I just ran that line right alongside it, and I can turn that on and it'll melt any residual ice that's built up in there. And that's worked. So I've already tested that system. It works. So I know that I can get out of a freeze if a freeze happens, at least in my intake. I'm not sure about my septic. I don't know if that's gonna freeze or not. So stick around for updates on if that freezes this year or not. We'll see. But so I've been playing around with a couple things, and I found, last night I didn't run that electric wire at all. And I found that if I just leave the water running just a little bit, it doesn't freeze. It doesn't freeze at all. And then I turned it up to full blast this morning after I woke up and didn't have any issues. So, but yeah, this will be going in. The guy said he'll be able to make it out next Tuesday. So Richie will be here to watch that happen. That'll be pretty fun. Tomorrow I'm gonna get all these rocks moved. These are, they're pretty good, just like base rocks. They're not like tiny, but they're like, I don't know, pretty decent sized rocks. So they'll make a pretty good base for this. That's in case you guys were wondering. I don't know, 2 inches? No, that's a good 8 inches right there. It's totally average, normal depth. So yeah, 8 inches of snow so far. Yeah, let's go and shovel some stuff. I'm curious if I'll need to shovel off the top of this. We'll see how deep it gets, and I'm sure that above the electrical it'll probably be melted, because that's not, you know, I could actually probably jump up on top of this pile and see if that part is melted. So the electrical is right. Doesn't look like it's melted. That's good. That means that my insulation actually is doing something, which is good to hear. From up here, I can see the whole world. Kind of. Russia, at least, from my house. Probably get copyrighted for that, but I don't make money off of this anyway, so that's fine by me. They can take my non-existent pennies. Yeah, the roads are really slick today. Went down to Wasilla just to get some stuff. I'll turn the camera around here. You probably won't even be able to see me anyway, but went down to Wasilla just to get some stuff. Was gonna have my windshield replaced because I've been worried about that leaking. And if that's leaking, it's leaking right onto that module, so it's gonna cause a problem anyway. But I should probably not move to where the generator is gonna be making a ton of noise for you guys. Oh boy, something in my throat. So yeah, it's coming day by day, and we'll see where we end up getting. I really need to get my solar panels moved. Yeah, still haven't done that yet. I believe that all of the mounts for them are now sitting at the post office. I've got 6 of them in the back of my truck, but I need to go and pick up the rest of them. I'm sure that they're super happy I've just left them there. Why do I see light in there? I wonder where it's coming from. Go check in a second. But yeah, anyway, more of just a quick update for y'all. I'll probably have more for you pretty soon, since there's kind of a lot in swing right now. But wherever you're at and whatever you're doing, I hope you're having a good time. We'll catch you on the next one.